There are two things I learned early in my real estate career. Property management is a 24/7 job, and people will always surprise you, rarely in good ways. My name is Marcus Ellison, and I've been managing luxury properties in Coral Vista Heights for almost a decade. Most days are a mix of maintenance requests, resident disputes, and making sure million-dollar amenities stay pristine. But nothing could have prepared me for what unfolded last Saturday. I had just finished showing a vacant unit at Cypress View Terracea, highly coveted community of 12 modern townhomes arranged around a pool that could rival a luxury resort. The former tenant had moved out, and the owner decided to sell the property, listed at $2.2 million. Not the kind of place that drew casual lookers. After the potential buyer left interested, but not quite ready, I decided to do a routine inspection before heading out. It was the kind of July afternoon that wrapped around you like a heated blanket. I was regretting the full suit I'd worn, especially as the Florida humidity clung to every fiber of my clothing. As I rounded the corner to the pool area, I noticed something off. A woman probably in her 60s, tan, with a meticulously styled blonde bob and oversized designer sunglasses lounged by the pool like she owned the place. That was strange. I knew every single resident by name and face, and she wasn't one of them. The pool is a private amenity. We've had issues in the past with people from nearby communities sneaking in, but they usually fled the moment someone from management appeared. I approached with the kind of smile you learn to wear in this job, professional but firm. "Good afternoon, ma'am. Are you a resident here at Cypress View Terrace?" She didn't even look up from her glossy magazine. She waved me off like I was a mosquito. "I'm Diane Whitmore. I live on Oak Bluff Drive." That confirmed it. Oak Bluff was a separate development, entirely nice, sure, but without the exclusive amenities our residents paid handsomely for. "I'm sorry, Miss Whitmore, but this pool is reserved for Cypress residents only. There are signs posted at each entrance stating it's private property." She pulled her sunglasses down, revealing a tight squint of disapproval. "Excuse me? I've been coming here for weeks. No one's ever had a problem with it before." Her response wasn't uncommon. Entitlement often cloaks itself in tradition. I kept my voice calm. "That may be the case, but I'm the property manager, and I need to ensure only residents and their registered guests use the facilities." She sat up now, scanning me like she was deciding whether to believe I was legit. "You're the property manager?" There it was. The implication that someone like me, black, dressed in a suit, clipboard in hand, count possibly be the authority figure in this space. I'd seen the look 100 times. I nodded. "Yes, ma'am. Marcus Ellison, Senior Property Manager for Blue Wave Residential." I reached for my business card, but before I could retrieve it, she let out a scoff of full, theatrical laugh. "And I'm a Duchess of Windsor." I stayed composed. The job came with its share of performative disbelief, but something about her condescension struck a nerve. "Regardless of who you think I am, this is private property, and I'll have to ask you to leave." She stood up slowly, dripping water from her designer cover-up. "I know Caroline Bishop in Unit 5. She told me I could come anytime." Caroline Bishop moved out in April. The unit's been vacant since. Her jaw tightened. "That's ridiculous. I just talked to her." She fumbled with her phone. I pulled up our digital resident directory. "Would you like to see our current resident list?" "I don't need to see anything," she snapped. "I've been using this pool regularly. If there was a problem, someone should have said something sooner. I apologize if security hasn't enforced this strictly, but that doesn't change the fact that you're not authorized to be here." The word trespassing ignited her. She stepped closer, her finger nearly touching my face. "Do you know who my husband is?" "Charles Whitmore. He sits on the city zoning board. We've lived in Coral Vista for 30 years. There it was. The name drop. The attempt to leverage local influence. "With respect, MS. Whitmore, that doesn't entitle you to access private amenities. I'm asking once more. Please gather your things and leave." She crossed her arms and plopped back in her lounger. "I'm not going anywhere. If you refuse, I'll have to involve law enforcement." She smirked. "Go ahead. I'll call them myself." And she did. I stood there, stunned, as she dialed 911 and spun a tale of being harassed by a tall, intimidating black man in a suit, claiming she felt unsafe. I immediately called our security service. Then I began recording with my phone. Her eyes widened. "You can't film me. We're in a public-facing private facility. For documentation purposes, I'm well within my rights." The next 20 minutes were excruciating. She oscillated between faux fear and open hostility. I kept a safe distance, documenting everything. Security arrived first. Jamal, our longtime guard, recognized me instantly. "Mr. Ellison, everything all right? This woman is trespassing. She's called the police, claiming I'm harassing her." Before Jamal could reply, Diane launched into her version of events. Jamal wasn't impressed. "Ma'am, this is Marcus Ellison. He's the senior manager for this property. Where's his ID?" I show my badge. She huffed. Moments later, 2 officers arrived. One young and tentative, the other seasoned and familiar Sergeant Langston, someone I'd worked with on past incidents. Diane ran to them. "Officers, thank God. You won't leave me alone." Langston asked me calmly, "Mr. Ellison, what's going on here?" After I explained, Diane interrupted several times. She changed her story twice. "Ma'am," Langston asked, "who invited you here?" "Caroline Bishop. Unit 5. Jamal shook his head. "Vacant unit. Has been for months." Langston's face hardened. "Do you have any proof you were invited today?" "Look at me," she snapped. "Do I look like someone who doesn't belong here?" The implication hung in the air like smog. Langston finally said, "Ma'am, you're trespassing. Please leave or face removal." "This isn't over," she hissed, gathering her things. "We still need your info for our report," Langston added. She gave it, confirming everything I already knew. When she left, Langston turned to me. "Sorry about that, Marcus. You handled it well." "Thanks, Sergeant. Not my first rodeo." By Monday, I'd nearly forgotten the incident until my assistant, Naomi, knocked. "Charles Whitmore is here." "No appointment." I sighed. "Send him in." Charles was every bit the politician, smooth, tailored, assertive. "Mr. Ellison," he greeted. "I'm here about Saturday." "Of course. Please sit." He did, loosening his tie. "I want to apologize for Diane's behavior. That surprised me." I listened. "I've read the report. I'm embarrassed. I want this resolved quietly." "And what does resolve mean, Mr. Whitmore?" "No complaints, no press. Just closure." I nodded slowly. "Your wife accessed our facilities multiple times over 3 weeks. We have footage. No guest sign-ins." His face tensed. "What can I do?" "A formal apology letter from her. Not to me, but to our security staff." "You'll have it." As he stood to leave, he asked, "With your background, why property management?" "Because I like building communities that respect boundaries and value trust." He paused. "We're looking into affordable housing expansion. Maybe we can collaborate." "I'd be open to that." The next morning, an envelope arrived hand-delivered. Inside was Diane's apology, written in elegant cursive. It was rehearsed, maybe ghostwritten, but it acknowledged her behavior. Days later, she invited me to lunch. To my surprise, she seemed sincere. She admitted to her biases, shared her old background in real estate, and asked to be involved in our affordable housing work. I was skeptical but open. People rarely change overnight. But sometimes, uncomfortable truths open the door to better conversations. By the end of that lunch, we agreed to collaborate. Not as adversaries, but perhaps one day as unlikely allies. It reminded me, professionalism, patience, and proof matter. Even when they shouldn't be necessary, they remain our best tools. And sometimes, the most entitled neighbor can surprise you after all.